Hello, YouTube. Happy Monday. Good to see you. I'm over here talking to TikTok right now. You can see him right here on the phone. So I'll use this camera angle when I'm talking to TikTok so that you can kind of get the feel. But YouTube is the main focus for today. So, hello. This button. Like, look at this here. See, can you see this? No, you can't. Can you see it in this camera angle? Yeah, watch. So you see, let me move this out of the way. This button, all right, right here, if you look carefully, you'll see it light up. So this is the button. I'm just going to tap. See, I didn't even touch it. Turn off. It's so frustrating. All right, turn that channel down. It's an expensive board, too. But, all right, YouTube, good morning. Let's bring the comment section over here. Let's take a look at what we've got. Let's see. Oh, what do we have here? Amanda. Just got to the gym, so I may not be able to chat much, but I'm here. Also, who is this person who's at the gym in the AM? I don't think that's ever happened before. Well, congratulations on giving it a try. You know, a lot of this journey I've realized is just about being willing to give stuff a try. Just see how it goes. Oh, there's a little bit of schmutz there on my teleprompter. Let's get that off. There we go. All right. Well, congratulations, Amanda. Let's see. Who else? Ria. I definitely need to hear emotional eating content right now here for that. So we're going to be diving into this book here in a little bit. 8 Keys to End Emotional Eating by Dr. Howard Farkas. My absolute favorite book on emotional eating. I have yet to find one that is better. Somebody says, I think he is setting up TikTok. Yes, I am indeed setting up TikTok. So I have TikTok right here. Hello, TikTok. Hey, if you want to come join the conversation in a more immersive manner, head on over to youtube.com. And also to those of you that are on YouTube, if you do enjoy my live streams, make sure to hit the subscribe and notification bell. That will give you a little ding-a-lee-ding whenever I go live. I do also post in my free Facebook group. You can join that by going to chrisstarcoaching.com. You'll find a link to my free Facebook group there. Love to have you come be a part of that. All right, let's go back to the comment section here. Let's get caught up. Let's see. Jennifer, Chris last week told me not to care what people think, so I joined the gym. Nice. Mason, I'm curious to hear more about emotional eating versus boredom eating. Did you know they're the same thing? Did you know that emotional eating and boredom eating is emotional eating? It is a form of emotional eating. Did you know that? So there's not the difference. It's not versus. It's and. Emotional eating and boredom eating, because they are the same. But boredom eating and binge eating aren't the same. They're two different things in emotional eating. Sorry, I'm rearranging my windows here. That's why I'm kind of singing to myself. Let's see. Tequila. Just completed my 10K goal race. What to do now? Feeling lost. First day post-event. The post-race blues. I know them well. You do some sort of thing, you get to the other side of accomplishment, and then you're just like, now what? I've been doing all this work chasing this thing, and now it's gone. So you could set another goal, but you're just going to find yourself in this exact same feeling again. And then you could set another goal, and you're going to find yourself in the exact same feeling again. Why don't you go give that a try, though? See what you think. Give that a try. Laura, I find that I emotional eat not just during stressful times, but during happy times. Like excited happy times. Not sure what that's all about. Well, what that's about liking to use food to help manage your emotional state. That's what it's about. Emotional eating is using your food to manage your emotional state. You're solving your emotional hunger, your hedonic hunger, not your physical hunger. You see, physical hunger is not the same thing. And emotional eating doesn't, it could solve physical hunger because it could be present at the same time, but emotional eating addresses the emotional desire to eat. So, Mason, what's next? I like that one because I got here on my arm. Oh, let's see if I do this camera angle. Can you see it? Right there, I got a tattoo. It's hard to show because I did it just for me, but it just says what's next. So that way when I'm running or I've got my arms down, I can look down right here. I just glance down and I can see the what's next tattoo just for me. Miss Mimi, how do we break the cycle of emotional eating? So we're going to dig into this book a little bit. We're going to talk about a few things. We are not going to be able to cover it all. I have an entire program around understanding and overcoming emotional eating. And I'm actually getting ready to launch my first small group coaching program that I have launched in 2 years. I have not launched one in 2 years. Wow. Has it been that long? But it is all going to be understanding and overcoming emotional eating. It is a completely separate program. To those of you that are in the guild, it is not included in guild membership. This is a completely separate thing. So anybody that is wanting to get into that, I am building it now. I am almost done. And I basically got to pick the day when I'm going to do the meeting. But how do you break the cycle? Slowly. Shelly, I've been complaining lately that I wish there was something I could emotionally eat, like blueberries or carrots. But you know what? Even emotionally eating healthy things still counts as emotional eating. It's not a loophole. That's why so many diets fail, because we're looking for a loophole, right? I'm not saying that, and I think, Shelly, sounds like you're alluding that you've begun to see that. That, it's okay. It's healthy. Granted, I gorged myself on it, had way more than necessary, but it's healthy, so that makes it okay. I hate to tell you, in TikTok, in case you don't know this too, just because it's healthy, that doesn't mean it's okay to emotionally eat. That doesn't mean it's okay to do that. Let's see here. What else we got here? Oh, he's like Marshall. He sings when he does tasks. I am like Marshall in that regard. If you know, you know. If you get the reference, you get it. But, all right, let's see. Let's keep looking down here in the rest of the comments. Let's see. Hey, Chris, have you heard of the morning pages? I just started them, and it makes me aware of my thoughts and feelings. Morning pages. I'm not familiar with that. What is that? Tell me more about that in the comments. I don't know what that is. Melissa, working on my emotional tracker to go along with the Empowerment Bootcamp. Oh, excellent. So for those that don't know, the Empowerment Bootcamp is a program in my guild. It's a course totally free, or not free. You pay for the guild, but it's included in your guild membership. I am, but Chris is in my head. Dear, it's still emotionally eating even when it's carrots. That's true. I don't know that I'd say dear. I call my wife dear. I might feel like, girl, it's still emotionally eating even if it's carrots. That's how I'd say it. Let's see here. Who's on the Guild Facebook page? Oh, wait, what are y'all talking about? Guild Facebook page. I don't know. We'll find out. But anyway, yeah, here in a little bit. So, hey, what questions, what thoughts? You know what? Chime in the comments. What questions have you had about emotional eating? Let's dive in. Let's try to answer these. And you know what, TikTok? Here, hold on. Let me move the comments section where I can read it. I can make it bigger. TikTok, give me your emotional eating questions. Give me your emotional eating questions. Oh, we got one right here from Autism Crushed. I heard if you have BPD, it's more common to be in emotional eating. So for those that don't know, BPD, borderline personality disorder. I was married to somebody with BPD. BPD is no joke. It is a tough thing to have, to be working through. So is it more common to be emotional eating? I am unaware of any, like, I've never looked into that correlation specifically. I have not. But knowing what I do know about BPD, I don't see how it would, I can see how they could go together, but they're really two different things. So emotional eating, think of it like drinking, right? Like, do people with BPD drink more? I'm sure some do. You know, do people with BPD gamble more? Well, I'm sure some do, but I don't know that they're necessarily exactly the same. Emotional eating, I look at very much same as like gambling, as sex, as shopping. These are things that there's not a chemical dependency being created on it. Like alcohol and tobacco are a little different. You definitely have the behavioral addiction side, but there is a physiological addiction to it. Actually, you know what? Let's jump in here to the book. Let's go to where he talks about addiction. So hold on. Let me go to the index here in the back. There's a specific section. Here we go. Yeah, page 27 right here. So I agree with the author here. I don't think we should say, I think we have to be careful when we use the word addiction when it relates to emotional eating. I think we have to be careful of that. And let me read what the author says here. And I think this will kind of, I don't know, add a little color to it. Let's see. So this is on, for anybody that wants to find this in the book, this is on page 26. The section heading is right here. Come on, focus. Can food be an addiction? Can food be an addiction? On the topic of behavioral addictions, I'll address one presumed cause for emotional eating that I find very unhelpful: the belief that food itself can be addictive. Using the term addiction to describe emotional eating isn't wrong if it's meant as a metaphor, as in, I'm just addicted to this chocolate cake. Resisting an unwanted impulse to eat can be just as difficult as resisting any chemical addiction. But sometimes when the term addiction is used in the context of emotional eating, it's meant to be taken literally. That the behavior is caused by physical dependence upon a substance, in this case, food. And honestly, I find many people, that's how they're approaching it. They're approaching it as if it is a literal, I am against, no, hold on, I'm going to think it. There's nothing I can do because I'm addicted to sugar. I'm addicted to it. I have to have it. That's not true. I have a problem with that use of the term because it blurs an important distinction between psychological compulsions and chemical dependency. And ignoring that distinction can get in the way of overcoming that behavior. Let me read that section again, because that was really important. It's what I have highlighted here on the page. I have a problem with the use of the term addiction because it blurs an important distinction between psychological compulsions and chemical dependency. And ignoring that distinction can get in the way of overcoming the behavior. So we have to remember, if you are an emotional eater, this is a behavioral addiction. This is behavioral. This is not chemical. You are not a binge eater because you're addicted to sugar. All right? We have to be very careful about that. All right, looking here at TikTok, or not TikTok, sorry. TikTok's right there. Looking over here at YouTube, let's see what comments we got here. Let's see. I have moved on from emotional coffee consumption, right? Okay, let's see. Morning pages are long streams of thought written out first thing in the AM. Oh, okay. Let's see. Rochelle? For me, emotional eating and drinking is like a flip of the switch. The thing happens, the mood changes, the action, eating or drinking begins. How to flip the switch back? Sometimes you can't. Sometimes the answer is you're just gonna ride that train till the end of the line. Brianna, is all emotional eating a negative thing? Ooh, even when the emotion is positive. Thoughts about emotional eating within calories. Ooh, that's a good question. I think today's conversation will definitely be touching on that one. Brit Chick, 96. I'm an emotional eater. Is it still emotional eating if you plan for it? It helps when I'm working. I plan, but should I? It's within calories, but I haven't decided if I should address. Even if it fits your calories, if you're not hungry and you're eating, it's an emotional eat. It's a real simple line. It's a real simple line. Yeah, okay, you planned it. That's fine. It's up to you if you're going to keep doing it or not. It's up to you if it's problematic or not. But it's emotional eating if you're doing that. Like, it's not, because you're not doing it for physical. When you realize you're about to emotional eat, what is the first thing that goes through your mind? Ooh, I'm willing to bet that for most of you, the answer is different. Let's see. Oh, Kristen. My question is, I can always look back and see when I was in a bad spell, but I can never tell in the moment when it's bad. How can I get a warning to myself before the bad behavior starts? Great question. I emotionally ate this morning, and I found that when I ate, it didn't bring me much pleasure like I thought it would. What difference does it make if it had brought you pleasure? Like, what difference does that make? It still doesn't help, right? Like, here's the thing you got to remember when you're emotional eating. You've got to shift in your mind that emotional eating is not self-care, it's self-harm. How about a nightly treat if you're not hungry and you're emotionally eating? So that's why I have in one of the 10 habits, it's snacks at snack time and treats at treat time. Because I'm implying that there is, in fact, a time and a place to have a treat where you're eating without hunger being a part of it. And I think that's a good thing. I think there's nothing wrong with enjoying the consumption of things. Like, let's take this. I could just as easily be drinking water. Do I need this? No. Is it providing me any value beyond enjoyment? No. I don't think there's anything wrong with enjoying your food. That's why earlier when the commenter said, like, what if I plan for my emotional eating? You got to decide if that's a problem for you or not. All right. Oh, right here. Shelly, it's up to you if it's problematic. This is the answer. You have to decide. Like, there's a lot of people in the world that emotionally eat and they don't gain weight. It's not because their body's special. It's they don't emotionally eat as much as you do, maybe. I'm talking to you that's gained hundreds of pounds from emotional eating, right? Lots of people eat their feelings in a bowl of ice cream. Lots of people have alcohol to take the edge off of a long, hard day. But you know who doesn't do that? Alcoholics, because they don't take a little alcohol to take the edge off of a long, hard day. They, get themselves blackout drunk, right? That's the difference. You have to remember, like, when you go into emotional eating, it gets out of hand. Well, that might be a problem. But let's go back to this. Let's go back to the conversation about addiction with emotional eating. A compulsion refers to a behavior that you feel you must do to bring some psychological relief. An addiction refers to physical dependence on a chemical substance that your body needs, and without which you'll experience potentially dangerous physical reaction. Okay? So now here's what the author does. The author then goes on to give us 3 unique characteristics of addiction. 3. So let's go through the 3. The first one is, it involves a substance that is normally not used by the body, nor is it necessary for survival, but it has a chemical effect on the reward center of the brain when it is introduced. Last I checked, you need sugar. Last I checked, you need carbs. Last I checked, you need fats. Last I checked, you need proteins. Does your body have a backup energy pathway where you don't have to have carbs? Yeah, but that's the backup. That's not the primary. So right away, food doesn't get that because food doesn't have a foreign substance that's creating an addiction that your body otherwise wouldn't have. All right. Number 2. The second is that when it's used repeatedly to trigger the reward center, the brain develops a tolerance to the substance, which becomes less effective in producing the rewarding response. At this point, the user may increase the amount used until it produces the effect again. And let's go to the third one. The third is that after the brain becomes accustomed to the substance, it becomes dependent upon it. The reason for this is that being without it is now abnormal, which will cause the person to experience symptoms of withdrawal. This can range from mild headaches like caffeine withdrawal to tremors, seizures, delirium, and even death caused by withdrawal from prolonged heavy uses of certain substances, including alcohol. Okay. Now, I just read the thing, but what I like is the author will then go in and deconstruct and talk about things. So I'm just going to read a few sections of this. I don't want to just sit here and read the whole book. But since the body relies on food for nutrition as a necessary part of its functioning, it does not meet the first criteria of introducing a non-vital chemical substance to the body. For the same reason, food doesn't alter the way our brain and body normally function. So we can't develop a tolerance to it. So it fails the second criterion too. Since food is always necessary to sustain life, there can be no new normal state the body must first get into and then withdraw from. Strike 3. Even in the DSM, it's not considered an addiction. Groups of repetitive behaviors, which some term behavioral addictions, are not included because at this time there is insufficient peer-reviewed evidence. And I agree. I agree completely. I do not believe emotional eating should be considered an addiction in the way that you might call tobacco an addiction or alcohol an addiction. I think you would call it an addiction much in the same way that you would call gambling an addiction, right? You're addicted to a behavior, and you're going to approach changing a behavior differently than you would approaching a chemical dependency. There's crossover, sure, but the chemical dependency is different. And this little difference is very important to make right here. All right, let's see. Brianna, what's the difference between enjoyment of eating and emotional eating? Technically nothing. But is it a problem? You know, again, the defining if it is a problem is always up to you, the user. You're the one that has to decide if it is a problematic behavior or not. Let's see. I don't know if I remember exactly. There's a part actually here in the book where he talks about this. I think I know where it is. We're just bouncing around the book, so I didn't have like notes or anything. I'm literally just relying off my own awareness and knowledge of how the book is laid out. Wow. Where is that section? All right, well, I don't remember where that is. That's what I get. Let's see. Like, when is it problematic and when is it just an innocent comment? Like, I did this hard thing and now we're having coffee and cake as a reward. Let me think of it this way. You have to draw lines in the sand with emotional eating. And it's up to you to decide where those lines are. You got to decide. What is the line that you're not going to cross, no matter what, for emotional eating? So let me tell you mine. I'll tell you my lines. Number 1, I will not turn to food to make me happier when I'm upset or mad or sad. If I'm in a down mood, I am not allowed to use food for the purposes of elevating my mood. Ever. That's my line in the sand. That's my drop of alcohol. If I turn to food when I'm feeling down because I want it to make me feel better, I have just had my metaphorical drink of alcohol. And I got to deal with that. I got to address it. I got to address why I did that. The other thing is, there are certain foods, I will only eat them if I chose ahead of time to eat them and I've made a plan. Like, let's say Five Guys. I used to emotionally binge at Five Guys a lot, like every week, multiple times a week. I would gorge myself, like to the point that I was like, I'd have to be running back to the office so I could go to the bathroom. Not running because I was too fat to run. I would have to drive my vehicle and waddle quickly to the bathroom because my insides were about to evacuate because I just gorged myself at lunch. I do that all the time. So Five Guys is an example of a food that I will not go there unless I have planned ahead of time. And then when I go there, I will get the small portion. I will get a burger and that's it. I might pick a few fries off somebody's plate if I have them at all. Why? Because I'm playing with snakes with that one with me. That's a food that I have lost control. I don't cut it out. I don't believe in cutting things out forever. I don't believe in that. I think that's actually a problem. But I won't go unless I planned. Donuts, same thing. I have to plan or I have to be very cautious. I don't let myself have donuts very often. Why? Because I would emotionally eat a lot of donuts. A lot. And also, I don't indulge, like overindulge. Like I have treat time every day, but I'm talking like off-schedule treats and snacks or off-scheduled treats. I don't really ever do that more than a few times a month. I just don't. Because if I do, I'm asking myself why. I also don't use, another line in the sand for me is making a good thing better just by adding food. I don't do that. If I'm going to enjoy food, I will enjoy the food for the purpose of enjoying the food. Like on my birthday, I want cake. I'm celebrating my birthday and I would like to have a little cake as a treat with that. And I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy the cake. But I don't sit there and tell myself I deserve to have this because it's my birthday. I don't deserve to emotionally eat. I don't think in those terms anymore. There's no deserving to have shit. Like that's how old fat Chris thought. Now, if I'm going to have cake, I choose to. I'm just going to have it. How much? Am I comfortable with this? And I even tell myself about the calories that I'm about to eat. Now, some people might be like, Chris, that's disordered eating. If you have to know the calories of what you eat, that's disordered. You can't be this disordered eater because you're going to have an eating disorder. Don't you think you've traded one disorder for another disorder, Chris? Let's take that same logic and let's now go to the Walmart. And you walk up and you see me looking at the prices of things as I'm about to buy. And you'd walk up like, Chris, that's disordered spending. You shouldn't be so worried about the prices of things. You just deserve to buy what you want. Yeah, but I only have like $50 and I got to feed a family and I got to make this work with $50. No, that's disordered spending to know the prices of things and to be so caught up with the prices of foods. Why are you being such a disordered spender? See, the logic doesn't work. The logic should transfer to other parts of life. And the disordered eating, because I want to be aware of the calories of the food I'm eating, is not a disordered behavior. Now, if you as an individual happen to have an eating disorder or have struggled with one, and for you as an individual, calorie tracking is triggering, that is fine, right? But understand, that is a you thing. Generally speaking, it's not bad, right? Same reason why if a person was a shopper problem, right? They might have different triggers. Same as someone that's an alcoholic. They have different triggers. Look, if you got a thing, yeah, you might have to accommodate it. But just being aware of the calories that are in your food isn't disordered. Oh, Chris, now you're being obsessed. Isn't that a little obsessive? I don't know. I was pretty obsessive about stuffing my face as much as I could all the time. I was pretty obsessive about making sure I went to the latest restaurants. I was pretty obsessive about trying everything on a menu. I was pretty obsessive about enjoying it. I don't know. I was pretty damn obsessive before. Like, I didn't seem to have a problem with being obsessed then. A little obsession with taking care of your body, a little one, ain't bad. Or maybe you think it is. You don't do it. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. It's your body. You can do whatever you want. See, that's the thing to always remember. It's your body. It's your life. You can do with it what you want. It's yours. Have fun with it. I don't care. If you want to sit there and just slam down food all the time and never move and become 400 pounds and you are happy, then I'm happy for you. Great. Awesome. But if you're like, Chris, I don't want to do this anymore. Okay, great. Let's help you change. But like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, you have to do this. Like, no, do whatever you want. It's your body. Like, the way I look at emotional eating is it's like, if you can't stop yourself from eating, like if you are completely powerless to food, to your appetites, I don't care about your body weight. I care about the fact you're a slave to food. Like, I want you to be free. That's what I'd want. I'm not so much interested in your weight loss on that front anymore. I'm more interested in like, are you free to make your own choices? I don't miss the days where if I was in front of like cake or pizza, I was powerless. Powerless. I don't like that I didn't know how to go to the movies without having a gigantic tub of popcorn and demolishing the thing myself on top of the other food I ate. Did you know a large tub of popcorn from most major movie theaters is 1,000 calories? before you add the butter oil to it has a lot of calories. That's a lot of calories. So, yeah. Anyway, I feel guilty well before I emotionally eat, and then I do it anyway, and then the guilt continues. That is something called that you're probably going through something. Actually, here, let's pull up the whiteboard. This would be a good question to talk about. Oh, my whiteboard got an update. Here we go. Let's clear this out. Whiteboard. Let's bring up the question here. Where was it? There we go. I feel guilty before I emotionally eat, and then I do anyway, and then the guilt continues. So we have here and let's say this this hash line here. This is a timeline, right? So time goes this way. Right here is where a person is going to emotionally eat. And I just always abbreviate it as EE, all right? So a person is going to emotionally eat at this line. And the person is moving forward towards this, basically aware that they're going to emotionally eat. What the person is experiencing here is something that the author of this book calls pregret. You're pre-gretting what you're going to do. You're talking yourself through it. You're actually trying on the behavior before the behavior has occurred. That is very problematic behavior, okay? If you are someone that has a tendency to let yourself pre-gret, because it's almost what you do is you get yourself okay with what you're about to do before you do it. So it's really interesting here. Hold on, let me pull up some notes here. All right, let me get here. Pregret refers to the feeling of regret or anxiety about a future action or decision before it has actually taken place. It's the anticipation of negative outcomes or the fear of making the wrong choice, leading to emotional distress even before the decision is made or the event occurs. This concept is often tied to overthinking and the pressure of wanting to avoid mistakes or unfavorable consequences in examples. Or in advance. So pregret. Pregret is something you got to be mindful for. And it's a time that you're about to emotionally eat. So, for example, someone might feel pregret before indulging in food to cope with emotions, even though they haven't actually eaten anything yet. They anticipate feeling guilty or ashamed afterward. Right? You anticipate that how you're going to feel after. You're trying on the emotion for size before you've even taken the behavior. Before you've even emotionally eaten, you're like, well, I wonder how I feel. Can I handle this? Is this going to be all right? And you'll find, because you've done it many times, you actually can handle it pretty good. It's really not that big of a problem. And you're more likely to do it when you start doing that. This can create a cycle of emotional tension where the person experiences regret before, during, and after eating. So I have a scenario right here. Let me read this off to you. Imagine a person who has had a stressful day. They come home and start thinking about eating comfort food like ice cream. Even before they reach the ice cream, they start feeling anxious or regretful because they know they're not truly hungry and are likely to overeat the ice cream. They predict that overeating the ice cream will make them feel better in the short term, but worse afterward due to the guilt. Despite this awareness, the person will often follow through with eating, reinforcing the emotional eating habit. Pregret, in this context, is tied to the eternal conflict between wanting emotional relief through food and the foresight of the negative consequences. So, if I were to wrap it up, essentially, you're pregretting. Oh, that's the wrong button. When you're pregretting, you're going, I'm going to get this benefit, but I'm probably also going to have this negative emotion on the other side of it, and I don't know that I'm good with that. I don't know that I'm comfortable with that, but I'm going to do it anyway. The problem is, the more you engage in the behavior, the easier it gets to pregret because you become very familiar with that shameful feeling on the other side of weight loss, on the other side of emotional eating. You become very, very accustomed to it, and it's no longer a thing that will compel you to stop doing something. To those of you, my religious people that have a recurring sin, you'll notice you tend to pre-gret there too. Pre-gret is such a thing that humans do. We love a good pre-gret session. Then we just sit down and think about it. Is pre-gret from the 8 Keys book? No, I do not recall pre-gret being in here. If it is, it's not major. This was something I learned from researching the author's other works in an attempt to... I have been just devouring, no pun intended, this guy's stuff for years. Because hi, my name's Chris Till, and I'm an emotional eater. It's been years since my emotional eat. Let's see, pre-gret. No, he doesn't have it in here. But yeah, it's something I learned from his other things. And it's also, again, in preparation for the program that I'm going to be doing, all about emotional eating, with this book being at the core foundation of that program. I don't have anything for you yet. I'm literally just teasing the snot out of it right now. It is something coming. It is not a guild program. It is a Chris Till Coaching individual separate program. It'll be available to anybody that wants to do it. It costs money. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. I've never seen a program like this for emotional eating. But no, pre-gret is not from the 8 Keys book. Let's see. Shelly, I'm still hung up on the you decide if it's problematic. I get super defiant, like, don't tell me eating all these carrots are emotionally eating, Chris, but asking myself, totally different. Yeah, because who am I to say, right? Like, if I were just watching you eat a bunch of carrots, for all I know, you were hungry and you were just eating a bunch of carrots. But that's no different than if I just saw you eating a piece of cake. I don't know that you're emotionally eating just because you're eating a piece of cake. The only person that knows if you're emotionally eating is you, because you're the only one that can look at what's going on inside here. A person can emotionally eat anything. Again, it's like drinking alcohol. You cannot tell who is an alcoholic by just who's drinking a drink of alcohol. Because a person that is not an alcoholic, like take myself, I could take or leave booze. I had one drink in the last year. I can only think of one in the last 12 months. I might have had another. So maybe 2. But again, my last drink, a nice glass of an 18-year-old scotch. I poured 2 fingers and I threw away the last finger because I just couldn't finish it. I just don't care. I just didn't care. I take or leave the stuff, right? So if you put me next to an alcoholic and we're both drinking a thing of scotch, you can't tell which one of us is the alcoholic. You have no way to know. It's the exact same behavior on the outside. The only way to know is you'd have to know what's going on inside the person's head and in their heart. And you'd have to see what they're doing later. And yeah, I get it here, but you're right. You got to ask yourself, because ultimately the person we all have to be accountable to is ourselves. That's who you have to be accountable to. Many people, they get on a weight loss journey and they think I need an accountability partner. You don't need an accountability partner. You don't. The last thing you need is an accountability partner. If having accountability partners was the trick to making weight loss work, we wouldn't have an overweight problem in the country, an obesity problem in the world, because accountability partners are easy to get. Accountability partners aren't helpful. If anything, they just delay the problem, the solving of the problem. They're not helpful. What you need is encouragement partners. You need someone to encourage you, to remind you of your greatness. But one of the things your encouragement partners need to do is to remind you that you're accountable to yourself. This is up to you. Either you're going to do this for you or you're not. This is all on you. I don't live with the results of your choices. You do. And if you think what you're doing is fine and you're psychologically happy and pleased with what you're doing, then do it. Do it. Just do it without any psychological abuse, without beating yourself up, telling yourself I shouldn't do it, guilting and shaming yourself into change. Let's go to one of my favorite sections from this book. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Love this book. But let's go to one of my favorite sections. I have been quoting this a lot lately. Here it is. All right. Is there something that you should be doing, but are not doing? Get up and do it now. Alternatively, completely accept your inactivity, laziness, or passivity at this moment, if that is your choice. Go into it fully. Enjoy it. Be as lazy or as inactive as you can. If you go into it fully and consciously, you will soon come out of it. Or maybe you won't. Either way, there is no inner conflict, no resistance, no negativity. You see, many of us, the problem with the emotional eating is we kick the shit out of ourselves emotionally in our head when we engage in it, which only makes us want to do it more. The reality is with emotional eating, rules and can't do these and can't do that is actually a part of the problem. Right? Because humans are actually drawn to breaking rules. Let me read another section from the book here, from this one. This is on page 93. Marketers create slogans that appeal to our identity, the part of us that wants to reject expectations and defy the rules. Ads will often describe their products as sinfully delicious, a guilty pleasure, or a decadent indulgence. An ad for a hotel in Las Vegas has the tagline, just the right amount of wrong. So ridiculous. There's even a menu item at a St. Louis custard stand called the Cardinal Sin Sundae. Advertising bait illustrates a basic feature of human nature. We're drawn to what we're told we can't or feel we shouldn't have. As Police Chief Wiggum of The Simpsons asks his son, what is your fascination with my forbidden closet of mystery? Advertisers understand the effects of the opportunity to be had, especially when the risk is low, blah, blah, blah. All right. Because a person, when you are feeling defiant, you are looking for a rule to break. You're just looking for a rule to break that will have no social repercussions. And you going home and demolishing your body with a bunch of ice cream will have zero social repercussions. Not only will it not have social repercussions, many of us have gone so far as to surround ourselves with people that will normalize the behavior and tell us it's perfectly okay. And we'll even all talk about together about, oh yeah, I overate this. I was eating my feelings last night. Oh, ha, 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 you're so funny, Chuck, over there, and you're emotional eating. Me too, as I went and demolished a pizza last night. Oh, look at us. We can't control ourselves. I'll bet we'll stop one day. You see, we go and we find ourselves a support group and we just hang out with them that all reinforce our problematic behavior and tell us it's okay. That's the effect of your community on yourself, by the way. You need to be mindful of that. But when you are wanting to emotionally eat, you are looking for a rule to break. And so if you have said, this food is off limits, I can't have it ever. And then when you're feeling defiant, you're like, I need a rule to break that no one will punish me for. Oh, there's this food that I'm not supposed to have. I'm going to have it because I'm going to break a rule. I mean, it's what you're doing, right? Right? It's what I was doing. I'm just looking for a rule to break where I'm not going to get in trouble. Because, my boss would come at work and impose some bullshit on me, making me have to do it. Or somebody would get hurt in the world and I got to deal with it. Or I get hurt and I got to deal with it. Or something in life happens that takes away my control over how I get to live my life. And on the inside, I am just getting mad. On the inside, I'm like, I'm angry. I want the robot voice. I wanted the monster voice.
I'm angry. There it is.
Stupid button. Totally ruining the punchline there with the button. But when I'm getting that just, I'm angry feeling, I want to go break a rule. But I don't want to ruin my life. I don't want to scream at my boss. My boss will fire me. I don't want to scream at my partner. My partner might break up with me. I don't want to scream at my child. My child might disown me. I can't run into the person in front of me with my car because I might get into an accident. You're just feeling all this anger and you want to get it out and you just want to defy a rule. So it's like, I am not supposed to eat an entire pizza. I'm going to eat an entire pizza. Now, insert whatever your food thing is there, right? You swap it out with your part. And you'll find you do other things too. I'm not supposed to stay up till 2 a.m. playing video games. I'm going to stay up until 2 a.m. playing video games. Man, I'm going to enjoy myself. Oh, this is so fun. This is my me time. I'm so glad to have my me time. This is so fun. Oh shit, it's 2 a.m. I got work in the morning. Man, now I'm so out of control. I got to be at work in the morning. And then the cycle repeats. Cycle repeats. Oh, Jennifer, I love it when somebody doesn't make me be the only one to drop a little truth bomb. I used to share a can of frosting with a friend whenever one of us had boy problems. That's it. That is a perfect example right here. This of how we will use our community to normalize emotional eating, to say it's okay. We will find people that won't make us feel bad for the behavior we're doing. If you want to stop emotional eating, you need to hang out with people that don't emotionally eat and then talk about your emotional eating so they give you that why would you do that? Look. And then you feel like, well, I feel kind of guilty for this because you need social repercussions. The problem, the allure of emotional eating is that you can break a rule with no social repercussions. That is part of the allure. Well, no, I can't take away my emotional eating. I'm going to freak out. You won't. You won't die. No, if you're taking away, my whole life will crumble apart. It won't, I promise. No, I have to have it. You sound like an addict. You know that, right? No, I have to have it. You don't. You'll be fine. I promise. I won't be fine. I mean, in the short term, it's going to suck. Let's just call it. Yeah, but you'll be fine. It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. You have to draw a line in the sand. Like an alcoholic, I will not take another drink. I will not. But you can't say, I can't have that food because that just makes it worse. And it's not the food that's the problem. Let me do this right now. Everybody here in the chat, TikTok, you do it too. I want you to do it too. And everybody here on YouTube, I do this all the time. It's my favorite thing to do because we have to establish that it is not a food that is the problem. It is the behavior. So everybody right now, tell me one of your favorite foods you like to emotionally eat, overeat on. And don't say ice cream. I want brand and flavor. Don't say chips. I want specifics. If you're like, well, Chris, I like all chips, then just pick one. But give me something specific, brand and flavor that you love to emotionally eat and put it in the chat. And what I want all of you to do, I want you to notice how people aren't putting the same things in the chat. And again, I got to do it in two different systems here. So you each got to look and see each other's different things. But over here, TikTok, we got Chick-fil-A French fries, donuts or candy, M&Ms. Again, y'all, flavor and brand. Lay's barbecue chips. Asado tacos is mine. Ooh, Chester Cheetah hot fries. All right, let's go over here to TikTok or YouTube. Takis. Oh, you hit me with the Takis. Kit Kats, pizza Pringles. I can't resist. I ate the whole can the other day. Stop saying I can't resist. You're reinforcing the behavior. Crumble cookies. Whoa, cookies and cream specifically. Health bars and Snickers. Oreos. Wine gums. Chick-fil-A. Buttermade barbecue chips. Domino's pineapple and ham pizza. I don't like pineapple on pizza. Anyway, y'all see here? You see how the lists are different. You all have the same problem though, right? It's not the specific food that's the problem. When you say, I'm going to stop emotionally eating, I'm never going to have this food again, you are not solving the problem. You're making it worse. I know you think you're making it better. I know you do, but you are actually making the problem way worse when you just say, I can't have this. So like, Chandra, peanut butter M&Ms. When you're saying I could never have peanut butter M&Ms again, that's actually making emotional eating hard. Or like over here, let's see, Crystal, if you were to be like, I can never have Duncan Hines fudge chocolate cake again. I can't have it. Never again. You're making it, you're actually contributing to the problem by doing that. You're not drawing a line in the sand with a food. You're drawing a line in the sand with a behavior. That's what you have to do. With alcoholics, it's a little easier because they literally can just be like, no more alcohol, because you don't actually need alcohol to survive. You don't need it. There is no actual reason why you have to have it. So it's easy to say, no, never. Food, if you don't have it for long enough, you will not exist anymore. You have to have food. You have to eat. And it'd be unreasonable to say you can't ever have anything. Like that's unreasonable. And so what you've got to do is go, what is the behavior, the problematic behavior that I must draw a line in the sand and say, I will not do, no matter how upset I get, no matter how bad it gets, no matter how great it gets, no matter the circumstances, I will never engage in this behavior. I will do anything else but this. I know that's what your mind knows. That's what I got to do. I've got to abstain from something. But what? What do I have to abstain from? It's not a food. It's a behavior. And the behavior is using food to manage your emotional state. If you are mad, sad, or upset, or depressed, guess what? Stay mad, sad, or depressed. Sorry. Stay that way. Get in it fully. Well, I don't want to be depressed. I got to go to work. Solve it without food. Well, I don't know how to solve it. Then you ain't solving it today. Well, but I'll be a failure. Guess so. But you're not going to be a failure here. But I want to be happy. That's the problem. You're unhappy and you're resisting it. In many cases, the reason why we turn to food is because I'm going to turn to food and hope I can solve solve my problem in the bottom of a box of Cheez-Its, rather than turning around and facing the problem that I'm actually dealing with. The problem with food is it is a maladaptive coping mechanism. It causes you to delay dealing with the actual problem, or sometimes we use it to help us deal with the problem, but it creates a new problem, which is you're getting fat. If the only way you can solve your problems is with food, that's a problem. Like, that's a problem. That's not a good idea. That's not a good solution. That's not sustainable. That's not scalable. You want to teach your kids that? Guess what? Some of y'all, the reason why your kids are overweight, I'm about to call some of y'all out. It's because you taught them your emotional eating tendencies. Every time they were sad, you gave them food. Every time they were happy, you wanted to make them happier, give them food. Oh, you're not doing good? Let me get you food. And guess what you taught them? That's on you. Parent, undo it. Undo it. Some of you, your kid's too old, it's too late. So you better undo it with the power of your example. You better fix it. I'm telling you, if you taught your kids emotional eating, it's on you to fix it. And I know some people are not going to like that. Fine, unfollow me. Don't watch me ever again because this is how I feel. Belief systems transfer from generation to generation to generation. And many people, the reason why you emotionally eat is because of your systems of belief, and you transfer them to your kids. And guess what? Many of you, it was transferred to you. You picked it up from somewhere else. Now, you could sit around and blame all these other things. If you'd like, it's okay. It's fine. It's not going to do any good, but you can. Because ultimately, finding the blame isn't helpful. If you want to overcome your emotional eating, you know what you got to do? You got to do it. You. No one can do it for you. You got to do it. You're the one that has to look at the behaviors in your life and go, which ones are problematic? Which ones am I having a problem with? And here's a good litmus test. Just give it up for a month. Just a month. Or how about 2 weeks? Just go 2 weeks. It's not abstaining forever. I don't have a problem with taking a couple of weeks break from something. Take a 2-week break. See what happens. You'll find it amusing how when you can't go 2 weeks without having some chips. 2 weeks without ice cream. Really? You can't go 2 weeks without ice cream? 2 weeks. You can't go 2 weeks without ice cream. Really? You comfortable with that? You good with that? You good with the fact that you can't get yourself to go 2 weeks without ice cream? I'll bet you can do it. And then bring it back. You can let it come back. But if you're like 5 days into it, you're like running to get some ice cream, you might have a problem. You might have a problem. So I know it's a little bit of tough love here on parts of this, calling out some things with the emotional eating. But the reason I'm talking about it is because I'm not asking anybody to do anything I didn't do myself. I'm not asking anybody to do anything that I don't do or I don't deal with on my own. This is hard. Look, I emotionally ate all along the way. And what happened is it just got less and less and less and less. Until eventually I reached a point I'm like, I can't remember the last time I binged. I know I did. I just don't remember when it was. It's, I would fall off the wagon, so to speak. And before that would lead to the case of the fuck it said last for 3 years. And then I'd get back on it and I'd fall off the wagon and I'd get a case of the fuck it said last for 2 years. Then I'd get back on it and keep going. Fall off the wagon again, 2 weeks into a diet and then get a case of the fuck it's for a year. Then I'd fall off the bandwagon and get a case of the fuck it said last for 6 months. Then I'd fall off the bandwagon again, and I'd get a case of the fuck it so it would last for a month. Then I'd get back on it again. And then I'd get a case of fall off the wagon again and get a case of the fuck it's that lasted a day. And then the next time it happened, and I got a case of the fuck it's for an hour. And then the next time I got a case of the fuckets, and it only lasted for the meal. And then the last time it lasted only for 5 minutes. And then I got back on it. I mean, how much damage can you do in 5 minutes? Really not that much. And then before you know it, I was falling off the bandwagon and picking myself up immediately. And you see what would happen is so the gap between the fuckets would get wider too. I would go longer before falling off the bandwagon. Before I might fall off the bandwagon, I could make it a day. I couldn't make it a day without falling off the wagon. Then I'd make it a week. And then I'd make it 9 days. Then I'd make it a month. Then I'd fall off the wagon and make it a day. You see, this journey is going to make you come face to face with you. You're going to come face to face with your own shortcomings. You're going to come face to face with your own weaknesses. You're going to come face to face with your strengths too. And then you're going to have to use them. Because many of you have strength, but you choose not to use it. You choose to sacrifice your strength and choose powerlessness, choose helplessness. Just like me. And somewhere on this journey, you're going to say, I'm fucking tired of being a loser. Because I'm a loser. Every time I do this, I don't make it past a week, and I'm sick and tired of this. I'm not. Everybody else isn't better than me. But I was going around telling myself everybody's better than me. So finally, I decided to say, I'm done with this. I'm done thinking everybody else is better than me. And I decided to step into my power, which means recognizing my ability to choose. And I started making choices. Different ones. And I drew a line in the sand. If I'm not hungry, I won't eat. Doesn't matter who asks me. Doesn't matter what emotional state I'm in. Doesn't matter. If I'm not hungry, I won't eat. Now, I'm not talking about when you got to plan food. We all understand that. But generally speaking, for regular life, when I have all else being equal, if I'm not hungry, I won't eat. And anytime I eat when I'm not hungry, I need to find out why. And I need to see, is this an emotional eat? Is there a good reason for this? Am I being helpless? You see, I was done being a victim to my emotional eating. I was sick and tired of being a victim. I don't like being a victim. It feels bad, which only made me wanted to eat more. So part of this overcoming the emotional eating comes from first recognizing that you're playing the part of the victim. And then choosing to stop doing that. Choosing to stop playing the part of the victim. But it's challenging because I don't know who you are, but I know just statistically, let me see how many people we have here. Between both of these streams right here, I'm willing to bet there's at least 5 to 10 of you. You are deep into the victimhood. It's important to you to be a victim. It's important to you. You may not think it's important to you, but it's important to you. You won't give it up. Everything is happening to you. I have this. I'm a binge eater. I'm this. I'm that. Nothing I can do. I'm hopeless. Gosh, I'll never change. Why can't I ever change? It's important to you to be a victim. Sometimes we've literally conditioned ourselves into be the victim. It's our way we get love and attention. By playing the victim card, people come to our aid and make us feel better. Sometimes we learned that as a young child and we don't even know that we did that. We don't even know that our true motive for why we're the victim is because it's how we get people to love us. Some of you, that's true. I don't know who you are, but I know some of you here, that's true for you. But if you want to overcome this, you must find out if you're playing the part of the victim, and you got to stop. You got to stop playing the part of the victim. And you got to start playing the part of the hero. You see, your story has a hero. The story of overcoming your emotional eating, losing all the weight and keeping it off, and riding off into the sunset with the body and life of your dreams. That story has a hero. Someone that's going to come and save you. But the person's already there. The person's been there the whole time. Because, see, nobody else is coming to save you. No one's coming to fix this. No one's going to come. Did you emotionally eat yesterday? No one's coming. Because this is a lifelong change. The person that's going to save you is you. The hero of your story is you. But at some point, you're going to go, I'm not ready. It can't be me. It's got to be someone else. It can't be me. But it is. And either you're going to step up or you won't. And just because you don't step up today doesn't mean you can't step up tomorrow. And just because you stepped up doesn't mean you got to stay. You could quit and run away scared. You can stop when it gets hard. When you fail, rather than facing your failure and admitting you just got cocky and arrogant, rather than admitting that, you could just run, hide. You can do that. But you're either the victim or you're the hero right now, today. Are you the victim or are you the hero? Are you saving yourself? Or are you in some sort of tragedy that can never be come back from? I once believed it was the second. Everybody else gets to have the life that makes them truly happy and be their true authentic self and live in the body of their dreams. But not me. Not me. And I'm not exactly sure what I did to deserve this, but I did something. I don't know what it is. Maybe I wasn't a good Mormon. Maybe I wasn't a good son. Maybe I was just born at the wrong time. Or maybe I'm just unlucky. I don't know. But at a certain point, I had to change how I saw that. And I had to take up the reins of my life and say, I'm going to do it myself. And I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to do this. But I had to stop taking my bullshit excuses from myself. Oh, I had a hard day. Everybody's got a fucking hard day. Oh, I had a tragedy happen to you. Everybody has a fucking tragedy that happens to them. Oh, I had a trauma in my past. Everybody's got a fucking trauma in their past. Oh, but mine's even worse. Why does that matter? Somebody had one worse than you, and they overcame it. So what's your excuse? Because at a certain point, you got to fix this. Or you don't. Because ultimately, we're going to end here on the real fun part where I'm going to retcon all of this. None of this matters. I'm actually only interested in seeing you do one thing. And that's live a life of peace and happiness that you love living. I want you at the end of your life to look back and go, I'm glad I lived that life. I want you to wake up and go, I can't believe this is my life. I wouldn't have it any other way. This is my life. I want you to look in the mirror and love the person that you see. That's what I want. And many of you, I know, you think that losing weight is going to make you somehow feel better, make you happier, make you love yourself more. It won't. The number on the scale isn't connected that way. You see, it's your actions that are going to change how you feel about yourself, not the results. It's what you do. But you got to do things. But it's up to you to decide the life you want to live. If you are genuinely, truly happy, overweight, emotionally eating, then do it. Do it. Stop beating yourself up about it. But if you're not happy about it, stop pretending like you don't have a problem. And deal with it. Take it serious. This is serious business. Because while I did say none of this matters, and I do want you to be happy, I do have an alternative motive. I also want you to live a long time. And I know we like to say that being thin doesn't make you healthy, but being fat doesn't help you live a long time. How many fat people do you know that live long, long times, 80, 90, 100 years old? And those that make it, what's their quality of life? Not usually great. What's their freedom? How much of the world do they get to see? Not that much. Not that much. I want you to live a long, happy life. And I want you to be free to go wherever you want to go in the world. I don't want you to have to say, I can't do this because my body can't handle it. Except for because you're getting old. That's what I want. I want you to be getting old. And 60 ain't old. If you ain't out there going on hikes because I'm too old, I'm 66. Bullshit. Fixable. Do you know ultra marathoners have a lot of people in their 50s, 60s out there running? A lot. 100 miles. They ain't moving fast, but they out there doing it. So, emotional eating is a tough thing because no one can fix it for you. No one. There's no drug that's going to fix this for you. Because if you take Ozempic or Wegovy, did you know that doesn't fix it? Just aspirin for a headache. Guess what's going to happen when you stop taking it? Start taking it, lose weight, stop taking it, then you can find out. All right, everybody. I'm going to wrap up here. I love our live streams. So good to see you, TikTok. Thanks for coming and joining us today. Always love having you here. I'm gonna wrap up. I will be back here next Monday. I'm here live every Monday at 9 a.m. ish. If you like this, be sure to hit subscribe and hit the notification bell. You get notified every time I go live. My name is Chris Terrell. I've lost 125 pounds myself, and now I help people like you do the same thing in your life. I've been doing this for years, and I ain't stopping. This journey's going to take you years, and I'm going to be here to talk you through the entire thing, but you got to show up. I ain't going to make you show up. You got to show up. Get your mind in the right spot every single day and go be the hero of your story. Or you can go be the victim. But either way, be happy while you do it. So good to see you all. See you next time.